right now of delicious and nutritious air. Breathe with me one more time. And again, really big now. Go all the way down to the base of your spine. Draw that air in. Hold it. And relax. Breathe out. Let's visualize a small little flame in the middle of your core. It could be in your heart. It could be even in your mind, but generally I find my own one is in the base, right below my lungs and right in my core. Think of the pilot light as a visual and sense where you're feeling it. Mine kind of tickles. It tingles. Feel it. It feels like just a tingling sensation. Kind of tickles. Kind of feels like when you drop in gravity a little bit. Or when you feel an uplifting moment. That's your pilot light right there. Breathe into that location. Supply the necessary air to keep it lit and have it travel throughout your whole spirit. Breathing into that location, feeling the tingle. Is it in your core? Is it in your heart? Is it in your mind? Feel its warmth and frequency. Feel its level of vibration. Just hone in on where that pilot light is for you. You can see it burning. Let it vibrate. Find where it's tingling in you and work on bringing that feeling of excitement, letting that build, letting it combine with the rest of you, taking it from the gut of your core all the way to the edges of your being. Breathe into that now. Let out a sigh as you release into the feeling of your pilot light. Descending into your seat, and notice where your core feels that light. Bringing it forth in amplitude and making it a stronger vibration. I generally feel an upliftment begin to spread in my being. Could be the same for you. It starts to emanate, to move out to the edges of your being. Expanding ever outward, feeling warm, feeling excitement and energy. Feel the flame growing larger. See it grow larger. Ever expanding outward, increasing in intensity, really feeling good vibrations coming. Breathe into that vibration. It's moving now to the outer edges, spreading the warmth throughout your entire being. It's magnificent. It feels happy. It feels at peace. It feels at one with your higher self. Your entire being lightens up as the flame begins to grow even more and more outward. Now, as you're vibrating there in your seats, start feeling the love. Start manifesting that abundance. Oh yeah. Your dreams coming true. Your future self being magnificent. The universe supporting your inner star energy. Breathing in, and breathing out. All of your favorite and wonderful things. The world finds you so worthy, happy, tingling, expressing your God light all the way. Now we'll take that light that's going to the edges of your being now goes beyond, way beyond your being. You're complete and walking in the world that you have chosen. Breathe into the world that you're making. Seeing, feeling, loving that intensity growing, all the things to you and from you and with you. Into the world you go, making a full circle. Breathe into that circle. Completing that circle. Your burner is full on high, at full capacity, and you are cooking. And that feels good. You're like a sacred fire to which all the stars align and all the world unites. All the fires that blend now, together now, with you and your pilot light at the center of your core. And together, we light the world with our presence. May your presence be an ever blessing to the world. It's a bright, beaming, and beautiful world. Thank you. Well, wherever you are, find your way back if you can. thank you again. Enjoy your pilot light throughout the day. watching, trying to monitor so everything smoothly goes. Very good, man. It's good to have you on stage. I love your presence. Good morning, Unity of Sarasota. Wow, good. That's a lively intro there. Beautiful. We're going to get you involved. You'll be involved quite a bit today. So with singing and spreading joy to each other. And on this song, which is a beautiful song by Karen Drucker, You Are the Face of God, would you stand up and sing it one time? We'll get used to it. It's a very simple melody. And then we'll turn around and face each other or someone close to you, right or left, and we'll do it to the person next to you. If you don't have it next to you, find somebody because they'll be there. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of love. Turn around. You are the face of love. You are my family. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of love. You are my family. You are a part of me. You are the face of love. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God.
Thank you, Rob. And wow, how cool it is to see the faces of God all looking at me, and I'm looking at you with that same face. Well, good morning. Good morning. Yes, that's the enthusiasm. My name is Mitch Earl. I'm one of your friendly chaplains here, and I welcome you to the Unity of Sarasota, where something good is always happening. We've already seen some of the good happening, and we got some good in store for you. So let us say together a statement of who we are. We are a beacon of light and love, touching minds, touching hearts, and transforming lives. That's it, right there. And so to further elaborate on this, we are an inclusive spiritual community that embraces empowering and life-affirming practical spirituality for richer living right now. We're not waiting. We're claiming it now, in the present, in the moment. And we join with Unity Worldwide in creating a world that works for all. Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you're welcome here, and we are grateful that you're joining us. Speaking of welcoming, do we have here today on this beautiful Sunday here in Sarasota, any people that are here for the very first time? If so, I would invite you to stand if you're the first time and remain standing. Wonderful. And so our board member of the day, if you stay standing if you're able to, we want to honor you and find out where you're from. Cheryl is passing out a packet, which I'll explain in a moment. Part of that packet has a necklace, and we invite you to wear it. Lets all of us know that you're here for the first time, and we are grateful that you are here, and we welcome you. And the shell, basically, the two components of it, the string, represents our community, and the individual shells are individual connection with spirit. So it's representative of our beaches in Florida, but it also has that spiritual meaning. You'll also see in that packet that Reverend, I've already made her a Reverend. Cheryl is giving you, being of loving service as a minister. In that packet, you'll see some information. There's a card you can fill out, put it in the collection basket, or you can leave it with Cheryl, who will be in Fellowship Hall after the service. So let me start over here with this couple. And where are you visiting us from?
We live here in Sarasota.
Okay, welcome home. Yes. Folks right here?
We're from Interlochen, Florida, near Gainesville.
Okay.
I'm a member of this church in the late 70s.
Whoa. Okay. Well, thank you. All right. And two ladies here, where are you each or both from?
I'm from Portland, Maine.
Portland, Maine. I was recently there. Beautiful. Love the waterfront there. And are you from a different place?
Sarasota.
Okay. And let's move over to this side. Yes?
I'm visiting my dad from Denver, Colorado.
Denver, Colorado. All right. And in the fuchsia? From England, yes, across the pond. Thank you all. Y'all may have a seat, and we're grateful that you're here. Those of you that are here from, oh, did I miss somebody? Oh, I'm so sorry. Excuse me. Your beautiful blue blended in. Where are you from?
I'm living here now in Sarasota.
Okay, and where did you?
Massachusetts, and I used to go to a Unity church there.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to neglect you. It's all about timing, isn't it, Jerry? Okay. So I would invite us now, if you'd like to turn around, there's a camera back there, believe it or not, and let's wave to those that are joining us on our live stream. It is unityofsarasota.org. Welcome to our loving room, our living room here. And just so that everyone knows, if you want to go back, catch this service on recording, or any of the services, let's say you're back in England, then you can look either at unityofsarasota.org or also on our YouTube and Facebook pages. So we got the next slide up already. Do we have, Cheryl is saying, no, not necessarily. I was going to say, do we have a physical child here? If we have that slide, though, let's bless our inner children as well as those kids that are here with us in consciousness. So let's go ahead and say this. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we see the living spirit in you. Yes, and that is about yourself as well as the physical little kids. Okay, so at this point, we have some invitations for participation. Some would call it announcements. That's our fancy term. So we'll start with, oh, it's a little small, but okay, I'll tell you what that says if you can't see it. It is Tell Your Life Story. It's a class with Dave Bradshaw. It started Friday. However, spaces are still available. Dave, are you by chance here with us today? We'll invite you to stand. Okay, and you got what? It's a good day to be a book. Oh, to write a book. Okay.
It's a good year, it's a good day.
Okay, great. So they can see you afterwards for any more information? Okay. Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. On to the Friday Night Express. This particular Friday night, we have drumming at our labyrinth. If you haven't been back to the labyrinth, it's beautiful, and there'll be a drum circle there. So you can get your rhythm on. And Unity is now featuring intuitive counselor Tony Lavognier For individual sessions, he will be here upon appointment on Tuesdays. You sign up in the bookstore, and then Tony will be here on that particular Tuesday for your session. Now, you could say, okay, Tony's intuitive, let him figure out when I'm coming. Go ahead and sign up. Okay, sign up in the bookstore. All right, so it is time now to refresh our youth and family ministry program. We invite you to bring your kids and grandkids to Miss Cheryl's upcoming classes, which I understand are all about Earth Day. And at this point, Mr. Rob, I believe you have another song for us.
And let's stand and sing the unity hymn. Every prayer is answered, every prayer is heard, every thought and feeling, every spoken word, what your soul has longed for, what your heart can feel is already here, it's already real. There is no one out there, there is no one else. You hold all the answers deep inside yourself. There's a voice that whispers, there's no you, no me, there's just one, there's just unity. One power, one presence, one light to lead the way. All loving, all knowing, that answer is when you pray. When the world looks darkest and your eyes can't see, gather all your troubles, give them all to me. I am always with you, I will always be. I am one, I am unity. We are one, we are unity.
Thank you, Rob. You may be seated. So, speaking of prayer, on the screen is an invitation for your participation. Let's say this together. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life. God, who is perfect life, perfect intelligence, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am an individualized expression of God. You are an individualized expression of God. We are individualized expressions of God. Yeah, continue to take that in. Thank God within and all around us. And do we have a statement of being?
We did that.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Already, we're flying through this rapidly. Rob, I'm
You're
going to
going
go
fast, man. I
you.
love it. It's good.
Yeah.
Keeps me on my
You,
toes.
you okay for this pace? Okay. It was
Yeah,
too
yeah.
fast for me, apparently, so go back to you.
Awesome. Good. No, you're Mitch. You're awesome. Mitch, you're awesome. I almost called you Midge. You're soaking in it. That was Madge. Anyway, I behold the Christ in you. Betty has asked me to do this song with you and for you and with you. So let's sing it together. We have words for you up here. I behold the Christ in you. Hear the life of God I see. I can see a great peace too. I can see you whole and free. I behold the Christ in you. I can see this as you walk. I see this in all see this as you taught. I behold God's love expressed. I can see you filled with power. I can see you ever blessed. I see Christ in all you hour by hour. I behold the Christ in you. I can see that perfect one, led by God in all you do. I can see God's work is done.
Thank you again, Rob. And so many of you have seen her before as we are in the process of attracting our permanent senior minister. Reverend Betty is here with us again and for the foreseeable future. So at this point, with a warm welcome, I'd like to bring back our interim senior minister, Reverend Betty Martin Lewis.
Thank you. I behold the Christ in you, all of you. What an amazing congregation you are. Wow. Power out there, the power of the Christ. And I would like you to join with me now in repeating the core value of the Christ consciousness, because that is the theme of what we're going to be talking about today. So together we say, we embody consciousness awakened to the truth that we are both human and divine, living from the awareness that God is within and all around us, aligning with the one infinite, eternal Creator. So, the title of my talk today is Resurrected as the Christ. So I know you thought Easter, that was the end of resurrection, right? But it's a divine idea. And I would like to continue that theme through this month. The idea of resurrection. Because it really is part of our life pattern. And really the story of Jesus' entire life shows that pattern from birth to being active in the world, to having struggles as a fully human, fully divine being, to then crucifixion, and then resurrection, the good news. But that pattern just keeps repeating itself in our life. We can see it in nature all around us. The changing of the seasons, and we trust the new is coming. Resurrection is possible. And in our lives, it's, again, a metaphysical principle that we go through this process over and over and over again. So we're going to talk about it. And another word for resurrection is also transformation. You know, if you can think about it as transformation into whatever is new, whatever is the next step on your spiritual journey. And so if we want to create heaven on earth, and if we want to truly rise up to our highest potential, then we've got some work to do. And again, Jesus was our role model for that. And also, I hold the Apostle Paul as a role model for that, because if you read his letters in the New Testament, and again, he was so aware of the Christ consciousness, and he never met Jesus. Did you know that? Never met Jesus. Wrote many years after the death of Jesus. But he was so convinced, he was so understanding, he transformed through a mystical experience. You know, he was like knocked off horseback with this lightning bolt, this beautiful mystical experience that he had. He persecuted the Christians before that. And then he became one. He became a powerful messenger of this message of transformation. And through his role modeling, you know, he says, put on the cloak of the Christ. And that's what this whole idea of resurrection, this whole idea of transformation is about. Allowing that higher power in us to be our guide, to the point where we can embody that in every cell of our being, every cell and tissue of our being, to feel that beautiful Christ energy in us. That is the process. And another one of my role models, even though he's a fictional character, is Forrest Gump. How many of you like Forrest Gump? Any fans of Forrest Gump? I mean, I just think he was such a beautiful role model for really trusting the messages that he heard. And his hearing of the word was through his mother's voice. Remember? And she represents metaphysically the universal mother, the feminine energy of God. You know, she said, you never know what you're going to get. You know, life's like a box of chocolates. You just reach in there and you never know what's going to come up for us. But be kind and be good. She taught him to be kind and be good and to trust and to use his own talents that he was given, his God-given talents. And so he was a great role model. So this process, this shifting into the new Christ of us, the new, and we can keep that process going throughout our lifetime if we use conscious intention and conscious attention, right? And anybody read Ken Wilber? He's a philosopher, a psychologist, and we're talking a lot about him in Unity right now because he has some models for how we can move through this process and do our inner work. And so you'll hear more about him probably. But what I like is he has this way of saying it about this process. He says it's a process, and let's go to the next slide. It's a process of growing up and cleaning up, waking up, and showing up. So growing up first is really about doing the fundamental principles to learn spiritual and emotional maturity. Because again, we are human and we're divine. So that's growing up is learning to master our emotions and our feelings. You know, we're not our feelings, we're not our emotions, we're not our thoughts, but we create through understanding how to master that human nervous system that we were all born with, right? And learning to control, some self-control, some self-mastery. That's the growing up part. The cleaning up, now this one ain't fun, but it's necessary, right? Is discovering within us what Jung, the psychologist Jung, called our shadow. We need to meet our shadow. Much of the information about the shadow is in our subconscious. But it's the accumulation of all those thought patterns that we've gained through our early experiences in life, through our cultural conditioning, and through people in our family, experiences we had in childhood, and just the general worldview of things. All of that material we pick up, and when we pick it up as a child, sometimes we misinterpret. Or maybe as a child we had trauma. You know, that gets stuffed down in the subconscious. So we've all got work to do to keep bringing up what needs to be recognized and healed, if necessary, and released. But in some ways, making friends with your shadow, to accept it. I grew up in a family of 8, and I was labeled the nice kid. I never made problems because I saw some of my siblings would worry my parents. And so I took on that label as the nice kid. And I was so grateful somewhere in my spiritual maturity work, and I was probably 40 years old when I got this awakening, that I could be mean too. I have mean thoughts sometimes. It was a great awakening. I always wanted to be nice because that's what I was supposed to be all the time, nice. Well, that came out as, passive aggressive sometimes, so I had to accept that. Oh my God, I could be passive aggressive. I could be self-righteous. That was all part of my shadow work. And it's still not done. We're still, we're always cleansing. We're bringing it up to look at it. And as we accept it, it has no power over us anymore. So that work about cleaning up is really important. And then waking up is about the mystical experiences. We've all had mystical experiences. And if you're one of these people who says, oh, I never, well, you probably have, but you didn't know what it was at the time, or you forgot about it. We all have mystical experiences when we meld with the oneness, that we are aware that there's something bigger out there, that upward pull of us to grow up, wake up, show up as the Christ, that we're part of something bigger, and we're all part of it, and we're part of each other, that oneness piece. And a lot of people report seeing it when they first looked up into the heavens and saw the stars at night just glowing, and the beautiful immensity of the multiverse out there, that we, and I remember that was something that impressed me when I was maybe 10 years old or something. I grew up on Bullfrog Creek, about 40 minutes from here. I grew up in Gibsonton, Florida. That was the Carney's home where all the carnival people retired. And so I would go to elementary school, and there would be contortionists and snake charmers, and there was a fat lady who they had to have a bench for her at church that was extra wide. There was the bearded lady. We had 2 giants in town. So that was Gibsonton. Yes. So seeing the sky drew my attention that there was something bigger than Gibsonton, Florida. And when I got old enough, I knew I needed to go see the world, just let's get out of town. I got to go see the world. So anyway, all of you have your stories, about waking up, and treasure those stories. But those mystical experiences are somewhat temporary. They come in a flash, you get this insight, but they don't stick around consistently all the time. We still want more of them, right? So when we have them, we want more of them. And so we do our work. We use our spiritual principles, and that's all part of that waking up. We do use our spiritual principles to continue to evolve, both spiritually and emotionally, through our human senses and through our spiritual powers. Okay, so we're going to talk about some parts today that I want us to take away, 3 ideas. So the next slide, first slide, is just remembering that we are the Christ. How many of you can actually say that? And you don't have to raise your hand, but just think about that. How comfortable are you claiming your higher power? And you don't have to call it the Christ. If that's uncomfortable, you might say, I am the light, or I am spirit, or whatever your favorite name for God is. But we are that. We are not our bodies. We are not our age. We are not our emotions. We're not our fears. So every time our human self, and we will periodically go to that valley of emotions, right? Because we know that's all part of the being, the human self of us that is experiencing that. But when we recognize and use our spiritual gifts and powers, we come out of that funk a lot easier and faster. We get our center again, right? So that's what we're learning as we come together. That's why we come together as a spiritual community, to support each other on our spiritual journey. And so that is the work of moving towards resurrection, transformation, that we recognize we can rely on these powers. Every time we feel afraid, every time we doubt ourselves, every time we feel alone, every time we feel ill or out of sorts. And we got a lot of that these days, right? I mean, these are unusual times. And so we're all, feeling a variety of emotions. That is the human part of us. So we have to accept that too. We want to be fully human and fully divine. We want to experience the fullness of all of it. And so I love that Charles Fillmore said, reveal yourself to yourself by affirming, I am the Christ, creation of the living God. Look at yourself as spirit, he said. Look at yourself through the eyes that God sees you. Right? That was Meister Eckhart said that in the Middle Ages. So let's recognize and use our spiritual gifts. So next slide. The next slide is a reminder that as the Christ, when we are walking in the fullness of who we are, we embrace the paradox of becoming fully human, fully divine. And it's tricky because we live in two realities, right? We live as human beings in a physical, material world. And we bring in information about that world through our five senses. But our five senses are limited. And they're biased. There is no objective data. Even the scientists agree that what they discover is really a theory about many things. And they can be proven again through the senses, but there are many things that happen that we can't measure. We live in two realities. We have the seen world, the physical world, but then we know as spiritual beings there's an unseen reality, an unseen world. The truth of who we really are. And that creates all kind of confusion, as a human and divine being. Because we forget sometimes about that other world, the world of truth. That's the absolute world. But we have a relative world in front of us that day to day we have to live in, right? Yeah. So what we're learning is how to be guided by the higher self, the Christ self, which has direct connection to the source of everything that is, was, or ever will be out there. We can't even describe how amazing and how magnificent God is. Words don't work in that world. It's really about being spirit, beyond words. So we must embrace this kind of paradox. And a paradox is two propositions that are put together, and at face value, they're irreconcilable. They're not possibly congruent, and yet they both can be true. They both can be true. And so, so in our culture, there's always been this sense of division for the last couple of centuries, this sense of division between the real world and the unseen world. And many scientists that, could not agree that the unseen world even existed. And so we had a construct that was put into our culture over time of a mechanical world, that works according to physical law, and that's all that applies. And if you can't measure it or weigh it or staple it, it doesn't exist. You can't touch it, feel it, taste it, through the senses. But we know that the senses are limited because we have a sixth sense. There are other ways of knowing. And when we tap into that, we will be guided in new ways to rise above the dilemmas that we have as humans in terms of the human physical world. And what's exciting is, we see a lot of the scientific community agreeing with that now. So there's a movement to understand that. A lot of huge breakthroughs in science have been because the researcher had a vision, and tested it out and made that leap. And so we can begin to see how important that is to really accept that we are both human and divine, and sometimes it doesn't make rational sense. But we know in truth it makes sense. And so here's some examples of that human paradox, the human condition. Like, the more we're afraid of death, the less we'll be able to enjoy life. The more we know, the more we realize we don't know, right? And the more we try to impress others, the less they're impressed. The only certainty is that nothing is certain. And the only constant is change itself, right? And these we kind of know, but they don't, they don't make sense logically that the two ideas can exist together. So the next slide, when we're in the Christ, living from the Christ, living from our divine spiritual essence, then we're reaping the fruits of the Spirit. Life is so much easier. It doesn't mean we won't still have drama in our life. It doesn't mean that there won't be situations that make us sad or feel afraid or feel ashamed. All that, those are human emotions. We're going to have those. But we won't let them take up a home in our consciousness, because we know there's a larger truth. We know that life has more to offer us than a single situation in our life. And we begin to just expand and express more as we go through this process of resurrection, transformation. And as we grow up, and we constantly are growing up, becoming more mature spiritually and emotionally, even today, we work on some of that inner stuff from our shadow, no matter how old we are or where we are in life. And we wake up, we have more quiet time, we take time, we set an intention to be with and in the presence of the one power and in the oneness. And then our whole worldview begins to change, that we feel like a global citizen, that we embrace a broader human family out there. It's not just, our neighbors or the places we're living in or the whole country or what we become globally conscious about our planet and about our people, the human family. This is one of the fruits of knowing that we are in that place of high consciousness. And these traits come naturally when we do our spiritual work, when we engage in contemplation and connection and meditation, when we deny those things in our consciousness that no longer serve us, and that we continue to keep refreshing and refreshing and refreshing. And I was looking up some information about Forrest Gump because I was kind of thinking about his life as a role model. And I actually came across a story I hadn't heard before. So when Forrest Gump got to the end of his life, he shows up at heaven. He's at the pearly gates, and he noticed there's a really big, long line there. So he's very patient. Forrest was patient. I love that about him. And I'm going to use a little bit of his southern accent, and I can do that because I'm a southern woman. So so he gets up to the gate, and there's St. Peter, who says, "Oh, yeah, Forrest Gump, I know you. Yeah, you did some great work down there. We're really happy to have you. But I tell you, it's just been such a rush here that we've decided to now have an entrance exam. So I'm going to have to give you 3 questions to answer before I can let you in to heaven." So the 3 questions for Forrest, he says, I want you to go off and think about it. I'm going to give you some extra time, so you just think about these 3 questions overnight and come back in the morning and tell me the answers. So he says, here are the 3 questions. What 2 days of the week start with the letter T? How many seconds are there in a year? And the 3rd question, what is God's first name? So Forrest goes off, hunkers down for the night, comes back. First thing, he's the first one in line next morning, ready to answer the questions. So St. Peter greets him and says, "So good to see you, Forrest. Okay, so question number 1, what 2 days of the week begin with the letter T?" And Forrest said, "Well, I had to really think about that one a bit, but it's fairly easy. So yeah, today and tomorrow." And St. Peter says, "Well, that's not exactly what I had in mind, but I'm going to give you credit for that. Maybe I wasn't specific enough. So you get credit for that one. Okay. So now, how many seconds are there in a whole year, Forrest?" Well, that one was a lot harder for me. I had to really, really consider that one for a bit, but I dwelled on it overnight. I think I've got the answer. I think I'm pretty sure my answer is 12. And St. Peter is flabbergasted, like 12? How did you come up with that? Well, it's pretty simple, when you really think about it, because there's 12 months in a year, and there's January 2nd, and there's February 2nd, and there's March 2nd. Well, St. Peter's starting to get a little irritated. "Oh, okay, I think I understand how you arrived at that, so I guess I'll give you credit for that one too, All right, Forrest, so what's God's first name? Well, that one was really easy because we would sing about it almost every Sunday at church. His name is Andy. And St. Peter is befuddled. How on earth or heaven could you have come up with that one? He says, well, Andy walks with me. Andy talks with me. Andy tells me I am his own. All right, so we leave now knowing who we really are, and we walk the way of the Christ. And I bless you all.
I remember that song. And he walks with me. But we're going to do Here I Am. And we're going to sing that one together with me. I'd really enjoy it if you sing along with me. It's been a while since we've done this one together. And so let's give it a shot, all right? Stand and sing with me. I, the Lord of land and sea, I will let my people be free to join in harmony, their world to mend. I who made the stars so bright, guide my people through the night, and to share my light with them. Whom shall I send? Here I am, Lord. It is I, Lord. I have heard you calling in the night. I will go, Lord, where you lead me. I will hold your people in my heart. I, the Lord of sky above, I will send my peace and love as my people learn to see the Christ in all. When my people hear my call, then my peace will live in all, and will share my love with them. Whom shall I send? Here I am, Lord. It is I, Lord. I have heard your calling in the night. I will go, Lord, where you lead me. I will hold your people in my heart. I, the Lord of rain and snow, I will let my people know that my peace is meant for all those here within, and my word of peace shall live as they learn how to forgive. Who will speak my word to them? Whom shall I send? Here I am, Lord. It is I, Lord. I have heard you calling in the night. I will go, Lord, where you lead me. I will hold your people in my heart. I got an extra fun song for you, top of that. I've been asleep, head in the sand, watching the time just ticking. Clock runs around, days in and out, can't really call it living. Somewhere I let light go dark. But here's where my new story starts. Take my life and let it be set on fire for all to see. Break me down, lift me up again. Don't leave me the way I've been. Take my heart into your hands. Come and finish what you began. Now I seek your kingdom first, till I shine, shine like heaven on earth. Heaven on earth. Ooh, I wanna wake, I wanna see all of the ways you're moving. Show me the need, 'cause I wanna be part of what you're doing. In my heart, let kingdom come. Not my will, but yours be done. Take my life and let it be set on fire for all to see. Break me down, build me up again. Don't leave me the way I've been. Take my heart into your hands. Come and finish what you began. Till I seek your kingdom first. Till I shine, shine like heaven on earth. Ooh, 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 like heaven on earth. Here we go now. Help me move when I should move. Help me rest when I should rest. Help me give what I should give. All of me, nothing less. Help me speak grace and truth. Help me fight for those who can't. Help me love the way you love, never holding back. Take my life, let it be set on fire for all to see. Break me down, pick me up again. Don't leave me the way I've been. Take my heart into your hands. Come on, finish what you began. Till I seek your kingdom first. Till I shine, shine like heaven on earth. Like heaven on earth, yeah. Like heaven on earth. Like heaven on earth. Ooh, like heaven on earth. That was fun.
Thank you, Rob, for bringing the rhythms today. All right, let's give Rob some love. Rob Satori. And let's also give our interim senior minister, Reverend Betty, some more love. Yes. I'm going to invite now my fellow chaplains to come forward, our prayer chaplains, and any ministers that would choose to also be present here in front. Prayer chaplains and ministers are available now after the service, and also as you see them, as they're wearing the shawls for prayer. And we invite you to take advantage of this. Prayer is powerful, as we know. Welcome, David. And while Reverend Betty will be here next week, I won't be, and for the foreseeable future, I'm going to be on the Love Stream side as I make like a snowbird, although I'm a Florida resident, and head up to Carolina for a number of months. So I will be blessing you from the other side of the camera lens. Let's give our chaplains and ministers some love. Thank you. And just as a reminder, after service in Friendship Hall, where we invite all those that are joining us for the first time, all those that are veterans here, to come to our potluck today. I'm not sure what they're having and what you might have brought, but show up and it'll be there. Okay. And now let's move to the time where we bless our tithes and offerings. For those of you that are new here and those of you who may be coming back after a minute, we're still not passing the collection bowls through our rows right now. However, you can drop your envelope up. I saw some people already licking their envelopes to leave your tithe, your gift, and your offering in the baskets and in the bowls as you exit today. And let us say our affirmation here. We give generously of our financial gifts, knowing that God is our immediate and endless source. Thank you. And let us continue in the recitation. I'm going to invite everyone to stand at this point. Our prayer of protection. Here we go. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, all is well. And let's go into our peace song here.
And yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God our Creator, family harmony. Yes, we walk with each other, perfect harmony. Have a safe trip.